Mad, sad, bad.
All of that. When.
A few moments later.
Oh, yeah.
Organize your thoughts.
Today we're talking about how to talk to adults.
Welcome to Redwood Bloom.
Welcome back to the series where we talk about issues that teenagers face through a teenage
And an adult's perspective.
Today we're talking about how to talk to adults and how to do so confidently and successfully.
Lot of qualifications.
Is that important?
Of course. The necessity for it to first happen and then happen well, where you can walk out almost jumping and patting yourself like, yes, I did it. Right? Okay. So we are hoping that by the end of this conversation, it'll at least give you some impetus on anticipation of a success. Okay. Okay. So last week, in the last video, we touched upon the challenges that we face as teenagers in having conversations with adults. And you may want to have a look at that video if you would want to understand it, or you've not seen and you want to link them. But now we're going to be looking at ways we can build upon it and find ways to be able to open that door, a wedge in between, if I may say so. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So where do you want to start?
Okay. The first thing that I think is the most important is naming the emotion. Why do you want to talk to them? What is making you feel uncomfortable or angry, or all of those emotions that aren't pleasant? And identifying it is going to make it a lot easier because you know what you're going to talk about. It isn't a conversation that isn't linked to anything or just has no base. And figuring out why you feel uncomfortable or unpleasant is going to help the conversation and the route that you want it to take.
Yeah, so example could possibly be you want to tell them that you got low marks. Mm-hmm. Exam time, sorry. The only example that comes in my head is marks. Okay. So how is it that you could possibly give them a emotion? How would you want to label it?
You could either be guilty that you didn't do as good as you thought you would, or you're going to be scared depending on the reaction to your marks.
So you may possibly start with saying, I'm feeling very scared about having this conversation with you right now. Mm-hmm. And still I want to say it.
Yeah,
right?
Because you're my parent and I respect your opinion.
Yes. So that's that's a fabulous way of looking at it. The other part to it is also being able to look at, while you are calling out the emotion and you're being vulnerable about it, being assertive and bringing the focus back to you. It's not about, oh, you will not listen to me, you're gonna curse me, you're gonna get angry, to coming back and saying, I will feel not heard. Mm-hmm. So can I please have a conversation? Even though I'm scared, I want to have this conversation with you. I would feel not heard, or I will feel judged if you give me your opinion immediately. So will you just hear me out?
Yeah.
Could be a way to show and shift
the focus from the person that you're talking to yourself. Because again, it's mostly about you trying to talk to them or trying to tell them something that's making you feel uncomfortable. It isn't what they think about it. And to an extent it is, but it's more of you trying to build the connection and feel comfortable enough to talk to an adult about these things.
Yeah. Wonderful. What else?
Oh, yeah. You want to make sure that whenever you are talking to this adult, they aren't angry or like
mad, sad, bad.
All of that. Because when they are all of that, the conversation that you're trying to have might turn into an argument quicker than an actual conversation. And you're going to feel like you have to defend yourself instead of, I don't know, talk your way. Or like tell them what's making you uncomfortable.
Just present your thoughts itself. Yeah, so choosing the right time is half the battle won already. Mm-hmm. If you have them in a good mood, walk together.
Yeah.
Dinner time conversation, tea time conversations.
Yeah.
Watching a
No, not while watching anything, because they're not focusing on you.
Okay.
Yeah,
you want to
deep
be
down.
heard.
Yeah, you want to be heard. You don't want
Yeah.
anything else to be the focus. Oh, also another thing that I forgot to say. When you're being assertive and talking about your own emotion or like bringing the focus onto you, it kind of decreases their need to become defensive, which is
Yes.
very important. And when they aren't defensive, they're more likely to be more accepting to whatever you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. The other thing that could also be having a conversation, like a trial conversation.
Oh, yeah. Trying. I mean, I feel like when you're trying to have that conversation with somebody else, you have an idea of what might happen in this conversation. It just gives you another narrative. Well, this person could be an adult or it could be a friend. Obviously, they're not going to be the person that you want to talk to in the first place. But when you're trying to have this conversation, it just makes it easier because it helps you organize your thoughts and make the yeah, I said that already, but just helps you organize your thoughts and
Organize your thoughts. The one other thing that I really love is the reappraisal of your thought. We have seen this quite a bit of times when, even with adults, when you are anticipating something, you typically anticipate far more negative than positive. So, anticipating what can go wrong and what's the worst that can happen, and then trying and reappraising that thought on saying, now what good can come out of this, versus she's just gonna disown me, to saying, oh, I will build a bridge with my mother after this conversation, can be a good reappraisal. Any take you have in that thought?
I mean, it just makes you think of other ways it's going to end. It's not always going to be the negative. It's most probably not even going to be as bad as you think it is. They're probably going to be more accepting than you think they would be. And focusing on the negative just makes that conversation a lot harder because you're only looking at ways it's going to end horribly, and you're going to be so nervous going into the conversation because you feel like it's going to end badly. So thinking of ways that it might be that isn't negative just makes the going into the conversation a lot easier and makes you feel a little more comfortable.
Yes. I have a feeling that my parents are not going to listen to me, and so the moment they say what, and then you're like, I knew it. We can't have a conversation at all.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, going back and looking for to saying, okay, my confirmation bias now is that I anticipate something good is going to come out of it, and so I will look for saying, okay, at least she's listening.
True.
At least she's not yet throwing tantrums,
yeah.
or throwing things at me, or just switching things off, or walking away on me, or all of those things that we can possibly anticipate from those conversations.
Yeah.
So those are things that
we thought would be helpful, and hopefully they do help you having the conversation. And it's important to remember that they aren't the end of the world and they're just a conversation. And even if it ends badly, the only thing that you got from it is that you tried to put your point across, and that's all that matters.
And do remember that the most deepest of bridges get built on painful conversations. People form very deep relationships out of pain. So when you have a difficult conversation that you want to get into with your parents, it's a very good place to build a bridge with them. Right? So that's all we had for you. I'm hoping that this conversation and this recording helps you in opening a small wedge or a door for you with your parents or the adult that is important for you in life and with whom you would want to have this discussion. Leave us comments on how did that discussion go. If you've been able to touch one life, that is one conversation solved for us, and we will love to hear back from you. Do like and share our content with your friends, and do come back to our channel next Friday. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.